between the OBS software I use and YouTube's streaming platform, but we should be good to go now. Hello and welcome everyone to Utopia News. Today we're looking at doing a Muga exclusive with DAVIDC. We're going to talk about all things Utopia, generals, as well as the app that's coming out, and we're going to look at the future of Muga. Be sure to join live here in the Muga cast on the Muga server. How's everything going today, David? Pretty good. It was late night last night, but I made it through. Just putting Yeah, and you know what? The more work that I have, uh, the harder it is to stay awake. It seems to be getting more and more as time goes on. But anyway, let's get on to the topic of hand. Now, what I was talking about, or what I mentioned in the YouTube body of the description, is that we'd be looking at everything that Muga's working on right now. So let's start with, of course, everybody's favorite, the World of Legends. Now we are coming up on well, not anytime that soon, but it feels like it's just around the corner, age 100, and I know there's going to be hopefully some special things that Muga's doing for that, and I'm sure we can possibly even get a small player boost with an anniversary like that. I'm sure some people will come back just for the sake of saying that they played in the 100th age of Utopia. Is there anything special going on with World of Legends over the next 6 ages that you might be able to give us a hint on at this time, David?
Sort of combination of ideas from everybody who's had influence on the game in the past. Put together some ideas for the 100th age.
Awesome, that sounds great. Yeah, sorry, I realized just now. I think you were actually recording still somehow through my microphone. I think the level was so loud, but I just added an audio channel here because I didn't forgot to add it there before we got started. But again, thanks for joining me today, David. And unfortunately, I think we might have missed that first little bit of when you said hello, but if everyone knows that we're both here, and whoever's listening right now can definitely check that out. So yeah, it sounds like there's some great stuff going on, and hopefully, that age comes sooner and we get more players in the server because it would be nice to see, Utopia back to where it once was with a larger player base. Definitely looks like this age is, gotten a little bit smaller. Now, I'm not sure if that's just with regards to the fact that, people are actually going into kingdoms rather than creating their own small little micro kingdoms off to the side. Someone told me that there was only, there was less than 100 kingdoms this year, or sorry, this age in the World of Legends. Um, Now, do you think that's just because of the new system where the game is forcing everybody into kingdoms, or I guess maybe people just haven't had a chance to create their little micro kingdoms yet? How often would you say you get those like create kingdom requests?
There's a handful every age for creating kingdoms. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, there's always demand. Sometimes more than others. Going into the holidays usually is a slower time for Utopia in history. So not that it's expected, but there's usually a dip in player activity and whatnot throughout the holidays, and especially like January.
Yeah, and you would think that I know, there's family stuff and everything, but you'd think that with not having work on your plate, there would actually be more people joining at this time. And again, students are usually off for the holidays as well in most cases. So maybe that just tells us a little bit about, the our demographics for the player base. There's a lot of family individuals around here, and I guess that's the reason they're not able to participate.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people that play, during work and at work hours and things like that. Makes it more convenient to get on, and less convenient when you're at home with family, doing family things.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I'm certainly one to agree with you 100% there. I think this week I've probably logged into my province about, oh boy, at least 10 or 20 times from my desk at work. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty important to log in when you got to wave and you got to march when you're in the middle of a phone call with somebody at your desk. Yeah, it looks pretty funny. I mean, I just call it multitasking. If anyone looks at what I'm doing, it's just like, yeah, don't worry about it, man. I'm on a phone call. I'm just looking up some stuff on my phone. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah, multitasking. That's right.
But
And hopefully with the app coming out, that'll be even easier.
Yeah, exactly. And based on what the app looks like so far, I think it's going to be what everyone kind of hoped and dreamed for. So definitely looking forward to that beta release when more individuals can actually test this out outside of Genesis. I'm sure this will be a huge benefit for the world of Legends. Now, since we're talking about Genesis, we do have, I believe this is just like a regular World of Legends kind of. Oh no, this is a real Genesis age, right? Because I noticed we have war heroes and all those personalities. Is that right?
That is correct. Yeah, this is back to Genesis type age. We don't have the dual race like we have on World of Legends right now. We did do the testing round with the dual race like World of Legends, but we've converted it over to Genesis personalities, Genesis type mechanics. I forgot to take out universities for this age, so universities are still in, but those will definitely come out for the next age.
Yeah, and that I noticed that topic was coming up quite a bit. Universities being taken out. Does that is Fountain of Knowledge and then taken out as well, or was it just
I forget if we took it out last age when we had no universities.
I feel
It
like it was like I feel like remember we took out all the science or like when I was looking at it, I thought I saw that all the science buffs had been taken out, including universities.
it's possible. I can't remember right now. Things are just kind of blurring at
Yeah,
the
seriously,
moment.
seriously, absolutely. And so what was this Age of Genesis called again?
Pandemonium.
Nice, nice. And when does it actually end right now? Because I know it started already, right?
No, it hasn't started. It's
Oh, it hasn't
open
started.
for
Okay.
joining. It'll start in, I think, about 21 and a half hours from now.
Oh,
It'll
nice.
start, and then it goes until Monday night Eastern time. So, I think it's 2 a.m. GMT on Tuesday. So, yeah, just a little over 7 days.
Nice, nice. And that's a good amount of time to run it for. I think everyone really enjoys Genesis. And once we're able to boost the population of the World of Legends server, I seriously think that, people are really going to take to Genesis. If not from the beginning, I mean, it's very likely that they may try to play Genesis first and then make their way into WoW eventually. But I think there's a lot of people who like that faster play style, and that can really make a difference for someone who maybe only wants to commit a few days or a week to the game just to see how it goes without making a huge commitment to a kingdom. I mean, I remember when I first started playing World of Legends, you're kind of like, you get super excited about setting up your province, and then you're looking at all your stuff, and you're like, oh man, I'm going to do all this wicked stuff, and I have all these rainbow build, and it's going to be amazing. My peasants are going to love me. And then you're sitting there, and it's like, oh man, this game only ticks every 1 hour. Where's the end turn button? Oh man, oh, what do I
Yeah,
do now?
yeah. It's I do really like Genesis for that. It's the fast paced environment you get basically an entire age. The way I kind of structured it in the beginning was such that it's almost like an entire age of World of Legends packed in a week. So you get to go through everything that you would over the course of a couple months in a very short period of time. So that whole learning curve of, how do buildings work? How does waiting for ticks to happen, the attack process, what's a war, an end of war ceasefire. So all those things just, condensed in such a small period of time allows you to get your initial experience. And then, not that you're a pro the second time around, but certainly you have a much better idea of how to plan things and what to expect. And it's really, I think, a great sort of like new player environment, even though, a new player might not be able to be very competitive. But I mean, saying that, I just had a brand new player in my last kingdom for last age for the World of Legends. He started, I think, halfway through the age. We had to, raise off one of our inactives, and I brought this guy in, brand new, joined Discord, never played before, was waiting for freeze time to start in World of Legends. We brought him into our kingdom, and we ended up almost but winning the honor crown by like 150 honor as a kingdom, and he did pretty well. I think it looks like he's excited to play the next round. So, really, really, really excited about the possibilities that Genesis brings to that sort of new player environment.
Yeah, and you know what I really like about Genesis is that it gives you the opportunity to actually use more of the buildings that you wouldn't otherwise use. Now, I mean, everyone's kind of so used to the long-term play of World of Legends. It's very easy to switch your buildings around. You don't have to switch them around very much, but what I really like about Genesis is again how quickly the server moves. So you can switch your buildings around. I mean, I've never used armories and things like that as much before, in World of Legends. I feel like that's something I use like particularly a lot more in Genesis, especially out of war. I mean, armories are totally normal when you're in your ceasefire when you're getting ready to do your elite drop. I mean that's really the only time that you're going to use armories in World of Legends. I have seen it used before in the past, and sometimes some people bring in maybe 5, 10, 15% for the drafting purposes. But when you're in Genesis, the game moves so quickly. You can pretty much just treat your province as if you're constantly doing an elite dump. That's like one of my favorite moves, especially because I like to go straight, balls to the wall, FSU, like just get the fastest combination, most damage combination, and then just, train troops as fast as possible and march those armies nonstop as many times as I can to see how big I can get before the whole server figures out what I'm doing and maybe tries to knock me down a peg. But once you get up to that higher level, like a few thousand, 4,000, 5,000 acres, you've already surpassed the majority of the server, and you're pretty much just dealing with the competitive kingdoms at that point. Now, I know I actually had some fun with that, where I took my single province, and I think I went up against Fayette or Wolf, or sorry, Fox as he's known, and I think that's when he called himself Timberwolf, and I basically was like harassing their kingdom with my single province, and I was taking 25 hits or something like that every time, but you know what? Because of the GBP and um, just the gains where I was for gains and my constant replenishment of army, they weren't able to stop me. It's funny to see like 5 or 6 provinces against one, and they can't really stop it because of the built-in game mechanics, which allows the single player to have a lot of fun. And that's one of the reasons I love Genesis so much as well. I wish I had some more time to play. Definitely, if the freeze time was ending at some point earlier this morning, I would definitely be in the server for the better part of today. Unfortunately, on Sundays, I work pretty much all day, but I might still try to jump in there and see what kind of damage I can do. Just a heads up to everyone, Avian War Hero is looking pretty sweet.
Yeah, as a snap pick by me, Avian Warhero is just so much fun. Even though it might not be the best pick, but it's fun for me, and I do agree with what you said there. Whereas World of Legends is much more team based. It's really hard to play solo and just be by yourself and grow outside of war and stuff like that. Whereas that's what we all grew up on, being the really fun aspect of Utopia, that the growth style, get as big as you can type thing. Genesis actually allows for that. Not that you have to do it solo in your kingdom, but it's much more conducive to that older style of play, I think, if you wanted to play that way. Or if you play as a team, continuous warring is a lot of fun. I've met a lot of cool people playing in random kingdoms and just warring, getting to know people. So I really enjoy it. I haven't been able to play much in the past like 30 Genesis ages, but I got in last age. It looks like I might get in this age, so
Yeah, I'm
watch out.
definitely going to make an effort to get in there. I mean, there's I think some players are getting a little bit too comfortable. We need to throw some fire into the mix. So, like I said, I hopefully will be able to get in. How much I'll be able to actually play and do depends on how much work I guess I have to do tomorrow. Although I do have sometimes 4 or 5 hour in a row breaks, so you could see me a lot more in Genesis tomorrow. You never know.
Mm.
And speaking of Genesis, what's the news on the Great Utopian War? Is that something that we're going to see in the future? I mean, I got my fingers crossed that it's going to happen during the Christmas vacation, just so I can play every single day. But that might not work for everybody, or that might not be the plan. So, where are we with that?
So I believe we're looking at next round. We will do tweaks to the current changes. So if the next round starts on Wednesday of next week, so in about 10 days from now, and that goes for about a week, we're probably looking at Great Utopian War might take place just before Christmas, if I've got my dates right. So yeah, I think we'll do one more about week long round of Genesis with the current changes with minor tweaks. As I mentioned, we'll take universities out for that, and then at the conclusion of that age is what we're looking at right now to run the Great Utopian War. So that, as we talked about the first time, will probably have a much longer freeze time so that people can know about it, get in, develop their, talk to their kingdom members, develop a plan, and just get ready for the age. So, hey, maybe it does look like it might be right around the Christmas break. Whether that's good or bad for people, I'm not I'm not entirely sure, but it's looking like right about that time.
Yeah, and I mean, and we can always come back and have another Great Utopian War as as the quote unquote regular Genesis. So I mean, I think I'm super excited to see how that plays out, and I really want to see how this round plays out for the Great Utopian War when it does come up. I'll definitely be joining for that one. Whether I'll be part of a kingdom that's yet to be determined, I might just go in and do my usual solo thing, but we'll see how that goes. Great Utopian War. Can't wait for it. I think everyone's super pumped for it, but this Age of Genesis looks like it's going to be amazing too. So it's definitely something I want to try and take part in as well. Now we touched a little bit on the bot, um, or rather, sorry, the app. That how is that progress going? Like I know we're doing some testing in Genesis right now. I believe is the only place we're actually testing it, but how's that looking like? Is that promising right now?
So the alpha has not quite come out yet. We're just about there. We've got I think the last I spoke with Kagi, he said one more view that he's working on, and then we'd be ready to go with the alpha testing, where we've got a group of I think just about 15 people who are on the list to do that. That way we can see with a bunch of different devices, people accessing the information, and that way we'll be able to do the major bug testing to see what comes back. And once all of the major flaws with connecting, getting your information, and just navigation type stuff, then once that stuff is done, we'll be able to go out into a more beta test. And of course by that time we'll have much more things available to do in the app. Right now it's very limited in what you can actually do. There's most of the important functions pages, you can see the information but you can't actually perform operations in the app. And so We want it to be able to actually do some of the more basic functions. So you can do a little bit right now, just not a lot. And so for the beta test, once that opens up, you'd be able to actually do certain things like explore, scientists, buildings, training, all the really basic stuff. Whereas the attacks and operations on other provinces may not quite be ready for the initial beta test anyway.
Yeah, and I think
But
that
it's looking great. Yeah, it's looking great. I don't know. I don't believe we've put any of the videos out to the public area yet, but for those who are part of the testing area and the design area, Kagi's shown some of the videos of the app, that he's got on his phone there, and it does look great. The initial display there, it's looking very good.
Yeah, I think it looks fantastic. I mean, there's been a lot of effort put into it. We have several artists on the team that are taking charge and trying to do their best to come up with some unique and cool designs. So far, from what
Yeah,
I've
they're
seen,
great.
it looks great. I mean, the app is I think the refresher that Utopia needs. We got a few other things to work on. I feel like before we go like full 100% live to the Play Store and try and engage a much larger audience to hopefully draw more player base towards Utopia. But that's definitely something that's bound to happen in the future, and I'm super
Hmm.
excited for that.
Yeah, it's really exciting. It's looking really good. At least this initial version is the idea that at a fingertip you've got access to everything without having to scroll across the screen on your phone because the current website isn't responsive. Just having everything at your fingertips where you can see it and perform the functions without the fat finger pushing the wrong buttons and getting in the way and hitting attack before you meant to, all that stuff, or casting the wrong spell. Yeah, so in the initial app, it'll be a huge improvement over the website access anyway. And then as time progresses, of course, we can make it more graphically in tuned. But the graphics we have so far are looking good. Some of the stuff that we've got implemented.
Yeah, and it's a definite upgrade to the site itself even. I mean the app, makes me when I look at the app, it makes me want to like just use the app to play and I can't wait for that to happen. Of course, I'm still going to log in on my PC and do stuff like that because I love using a mouse. But the idea that like you said, you don't have to scroll and zoom in and zoom out and all that nonsense, it's really frustrating. And I don't know how I've managed to do it over the years because I have pretty big fingers and hands. I've figured out a way to touch those tiny little icons on the left-hand side, the text on my phone, pretty consistently without actually screwing up anymore. So,
Yeah,
um,
it's a skill. It's a skill.
yeah, 100%. And speaking of other things now, I did say we were going to talk about generals. Generals is something we're going to start advertising a little bit more. I'm going to start advertising a little bit more. Hopefully Haffer can start making some videos for us, so we're going to get him onto the team there and hopefully get him started making some some generals video so that maybe we can pull some more players in there. It is an extremely fun game. I did participate in the tournament and we had a lot of fun there despite some technical issues and some players not actually showing up. I think was the biggest let down to the whole thing. I mean, you have that one player that doesn't show up. Meanwhile, everybody else is waiting, and the admins kind of had to push the game through the tournament. Do you have any plans to increase the player base of generals, or any thoughts on generals as it is right now? Is it kind of where it needs to be, or is it a work in progress constantly?
Generals is a great game. It's so much fun. As you said, once you get into it, once you give it a try, it's what attracted me so much to it was the fast-paced, strategy. So there's planning and there's thinking, and then there's execution of your plan. But you know, even a long game is over in less than 5 minutes, and you can pick it up when you have a couple minutes. You can put it down when it's over, and it's not like the Utopia where if you don't come back in 10 hours, then you're dead. It's when you're done with it, you're done with it. You can pick it up and put it down anytime you want. And some of the features that are already part of it, which we've put in the game, which just it's not as explored as maybe we would have liked, but some of the stuff that we've already put inside Utopia to give some of our Utopia people access to it. In the at the very bottom of our navigation menu, on the bottom left of the browser, is the general IO button, where you can click direct links that'll create like a lobby just for your own kingdom, so that you could challenge some of your kingdom mates to games. I think that's where it could be really fun for our Utopia players, in the sense that you're playing against other people that aren't professionals. Like the generals players, like that community is just unbelievable. Watching some of the more professional players play, especially in the tournaments and the like the season end tournament. There's a so what the way their sort of community works over there. Every 10 weeks, there's a reset to the ladder, and in the 1 versus 1 ladder, there's a tournament that takes place the following week after the 10-week season is over. Sort of like a best of the best type tournament, where you have to qualify to enter the 1 versus 1 end of season tournament, and then it's just straight double elimination based on your seeding over the last 10 weeks. And it's really exciting to watch those guys play. It's unbelievable, the efficiency of their moves, and the strategy and the planning that they have to use to actually take out the other player. It's really exciting. And there's some things that I'd love to be able to integrate Utopia players into generals players into Utopia. But at the end of the day, it's really just our ability to offer our player base something to do in their downtime, when either whether it's either freeze time, or end of war ceasefire, or just waiting for your army to come home. Whatever it is, it's one of those things we wanted to be able to offer. Just like I remember in the original sort of days of Utopia, when there were in-game mini games that we could play, and that was really the initial idea for it. Is once I saw it, I was like, this would be so perfect to just give Utopia players something else that they can use to develop that sort of kingdom bond, with each other. It's one thing to just be around and communicating and talking with your 25 other, or 24 rather, other kingdom members for 10 weeks at a time. And some of these kingdoms, with players, core players that have been together for years and years. I mean, it really it becomes like family, and that's what has really, I think, been the best part of Utopia, in its 22-year uh, stint here, is the relationships that you develop with your kingdom members, and the amount of time that you spend together, just getting to know each other, and being basically like family. And so, just adding one more thing that you can do to spend some time with those people is what I really like about generals.
Yeah, and that's not something I really thought about before until I actually got into generals and saw how quickly the games progressed. I mean, it took me, I think, 1 or 2 games I was playing just randomly. I got my butt kicked by whoever it was. They've been playing for who knows how long, but once I learned the controls and the interface, I kind of got to the strategy portion where I was trying to figure out how do I beat these guys? What do I do to get the bigger armies, right? Because I just sat there and I'm moving my guy around the screen and I'm watching these guys like they have like double the army, and I'm like, how the heck are they doing this? And then, as I started to play the game a little bit more, I saw how things were kind of progressing, and then definitely watching the tournament, especially as you said, the more professional players. Once I saw them play and some of the strategies that they were using, at the specific times or certain moves that they were doing at the right time, it really showed me, a lot of little secrets and neat tricks as to what you can do to help boost your armies up faster in generals. And yeah, I mean, it's a great concept. I love the mini game idea. Lots of games have that now, especially like RPG or MMOs kind of styles. They have, some kind of mini games in the game, like The Witcher has that Gaunt game. There's lots of little card games or poker type games out there in Star Wars, and I can't even think of the other games right now. Even I
Yeah,
think World of Warcraft has their own little card mini game or something like that. It's just been so long since
yeah.
I played though. But yeah, I mean that's definitely I think kind of what players are expecting now in this day and age, and
Mm,
with World of Legends ticks, being an hour long, that's it's a great thing to pass the time.
yeah. Yeah, there's only so much you can do, and then just the one last thing I want to just mention about it is it reminds me of Utopia a lot as well, in the sense that on its face it's really simple. You move your armies, you try to capture the enemy general, and then as you get to know it more, there's more and more depth and complexity to it. Making the most efficient moves every 25 seconds, and should I take a city, should I continue, or should I start attacking? Like, there's the depth and complexity in such a simple game, just like Utopia. So it really, I think there's a lot of draw to it, but you know it is what it is. It's one of many games that will be available to us.
That's wonderful. And yeah, just to everyone out there, when you do see those cities, do not throw your entire army into them right off the bat because the enemy player will just steamroll you. That is the one piece of advice I'm going to leave you guys with on generals. Make sure you take those cities when you have a good opportunity. Don't just throw all your troops into it because it will eat your army alive and you'll be left with nothing. And that just, opens the doors wide open for the enemy to march their general right in. And there you have it. It's a 1 or 2 minute generals game.
Yeah, and we've got a couple Utopia players that are doing fairly well. Sasa, for example, he's he's basically pro tier in the generals community. He's done really well over there. Haffer recently has started playing more. HD, for a long time he's been playing, and I had considered HD probably one of like the best generals Utopia player, but I mean, other than Sasa's just yeah, he's really good.
Yeah, I was watching him play as well in the tournament, and he did extremely well. And yeah, I definitely think more Utopian players should definitely check it out. Hopefully, some more Generals players will come and check out Utopia at some point in time. But either way, we're looking to boost both the communities, so we're definitely going to do more casts like this. And hopefully, like I said, there will be some live casts from Haffer and whoever else is interested in casting for Utopia News to help bring Generals to the broader public. I mean, to keep in mind, as soon as we hit those YouTube videos, get up on the server and those Twitch videos get uploaded on the server, they are just blasted out to everyone who is interested in that kind of stuff. It's the game, or rather, the sites are intuitive in that they're going to show you what you kind of, things that you're interested in. And even though we don't have that many players right now, there are still a lot of people interested in, these are very common topics for games and common things to do in games. And, strategy games are very common and well loved around the world. So I think, it's only a matter of time before we see a nice boost to our player base. And definitely, I think that's going to come with the beautification of Utopia, not just with the app, but I think, later on, much further on down the road, once we're able to start making some quality of life upgrades and upgrades to the visual upgrades to the actual utopia-game.com website, I think we'll be able to attract a much bigger crowd. Especially, all it is for a lot of people is just it comes down to graphics and things like that. And if that's what needs to be done to get up to that 100K player base again, or million player base, then that's what we got to do.
Yeah, yeah. So with the app development, it allows for so much more uh, for the web-based game. It just opens up so many possibilities. So, that's another really exciting part about the app. As soon as the app is done, obviously, that piece of it is great. But with the development of the backend APIs that allow for the app to actually run, it'll allow us to, change the front end of the web-based version to be a whole lot better as well. So really exciting things coming with the whole development of this app here. There's a lot of work to it, but it's definitely worth it. We've got all the initial bugs fixed. It's as you mentioned before, it's live on the Genesis environment, which is where we'll be doing our major portion of our alpha and beta testing, and then who knows. We'll get it live on World of Legends as soon as possible.
Awesome. Thanks so much, David. And to everyone in the community, we're always looking for help. David's always looking for help. If you are capable of doing something, coding, anything, artwork, it doesn't matter. Even if you want to help promote the games, feel free to reach out to myself or David. I'm sure there's something we can find for you to do or something that you're interested in. There's plenty of things to do around here. And if you have any unique ideas, be sure to share them because, everyone's got their ears open. We want to do what's best for the game, hopefully build the player base a lot more. And, at this point, I think, we're open to lots of ideas. So anything that you guys have, that's great. If you want to help, that's even better. Again, reach out to me. I do have several individuals who are reaching out to me already since my last post, looking for help from the community. So that's definitely something, that you're going to see us pushing out a lot more stuff over the next few ages and getting a lot more done than ever before. So I think this is an exciting time for Muga, World of Legends, Generals, Genesis, everything under the umbrella. I think David's super excited as well. I've never seen him so active in the servers and the games in such a long time. And that's really important. You want to have that presence there so the players can see that you're in tune with the game and alive and well and making changes all the time to make the game quality of life a lot better for them. So thank you so much for joining me, David. Was there any final comments or words you wanted to say to the community?
No, you're welcome. It's always glad to be here. I enjoy talking, and yeah, I had been a little bit more distant the last 6 months or so. My real life work just had some massive talkative in the community on Discord and all that other stuff. But things have cleared up a little bit. Things are changing a little bit, especially in the first of the year, the new year, and I do expect that I'll be able to be much more active in the community um, as of late. But no special notices. There's I mean, I guess we had a couple birthdays, right? One other that you might not have known about, Mr. Jingles. There, one of our moderators, has been with us for a while. His birthday was actually this recent Monday. So happy birthday out to all those who had birthdays. They've got the birthday hat on. You can ping them happy birthday. And yeah, look forward to. Hope everybody had good Thanksgiving holiday for those that celebrate, and looking forward to the holidays as they come up.
Awesome. Yeah, I think everyone had a great time, and happy birthday to Mr. Jingles. And of course, FFW, as you know, we posted one for him yesterday in the news. So, congratulations to you too. You made it another year, and thank you so much for those kind words, David. We definitely look to the future, and we're going to have a lot of fun. And I think this is an exciting time for Utopia. And everyone who's out there listening, be sure to check out our cast later tonight with Redbird from Warbirds. We're going to talk about some leadership logic, how to run the kingdom, not necessarily how to play the game, but we're going to look at how to make successful kingdoms, how to create and grow communities. And that's something he's been great at so far over these years. Everyone knows Warbirds is quite a large kingdom, and they have a lot of players on the back burner. It's definitely one of those kingdoms you're going to see going in and out of wars and showing up in those top 10 positions regularly in the World of Legends. So be sure to check us out later for that episode with Redbird that's coming on around June 10th, year zero. I will be trying my best to use U2 dates because everyone is in different time zones, and U2 dates is the only thing that's universal without anyone having to do any math work. So be sure to check us out around June 10th, year zero, for Leadership Logic with Redbird from Warbirds. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining today. Thank you, David C., for being my special guest, and I hope this was beneficial for everyone who's listening and everyone else who's about to listen. I hope you got some insight as to what's going on here if you're not paying attention on the server. Thank you so much for joining me, David. Is there any last words you wanted to have?
You're welcome. No, you're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Wonderful. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. And I hope everyone has a great weekend. This is a continuation to the Americans' Thanksgiving long weekend. In Canada, we had ours about a month ago. So nothing super exciting going on here. Although I've got a lot of stuff that I'm going to be posting today on the news site. So be sure to take a look at that. We're going to look at First Blood Kingdoms in World of Legends. There were two this age. So I'll be putting out a special achievement for that. Be sure to check that out later. Thanks so much to everyone who joined. And be sure to check out the feed on YouTube if you did miss the show. It was all recorded live, so you can catch it there. All right. Thank you, everyone, and have a great weekend.